You are listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiacos fans from Melbourne to Baltimore, from London to Piraeus. We are 4 Olympiacos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you'll never lose the latest updates and stories of the team you love. This is our team, our city, and our land. Man Aoniro Trello. You're listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast.
Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for all things Olympiacos FC and Greek football. You are listening to episode number 74. My name is Peter Thompson. I'm here with my co-host Lambros. Costa will be along soon. He's going to be, he's making it back to his home. And, we lost today. It was not a fun game. I think, is this the first game all season in the league that we haven't scored a goal, or one of the first?
Shout! It has to be the first.
So, in other words, very poor today. Hanu, thank you for joining as always. We are live today for people who are listening to this the day after the game, but we are live on Twitter, Gate7INTL, Facebook, YouTube as well. Before we do get into the news that we have, I just want to say as well, if you were watching the Novasports live stream during the game, you probably got to see Lambro and Costa on there. I was, obviously not Greek speaking, so I sat that one out, but great job on there, guys. You killed it. Lambro, you have anything to say about the experience there?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, guys. It's nice to speak about Olympiacos in Greek as well sometimes, because we talk so much English, and I feel like my inner Olympiacos fan comes out, because when I watch the games, I tend to speak in Greek. But it was really nice. I told them some nice stories about Hawaii and supporting Olympiacos from Hawaii, and they were really interested in our story. There could be more stuff coming out from Novasports supporting us. We'll see. A lot of fun this evening. I'll never forget you guys when I'm famous, Hanu, I promise. But just a great time. And shout out to Tapulen, is this the name, I think? And the guys who run it. One of the hosts is a Lubin guy, and I love Lubin so much, so it was an honor to be in the presence, even though he criticized my Bruma take of Bruma being average. But anyway, I guess we have some news as well, Peter, so I'll get into the housekeeping news section for everyone listening. So, as you guys know, we're pretty close with Olympiacos DC. They unfortunately lost 3-0 this weekend to Lynchburg FC. If you missed the game and want to catch the replay of what happened, feel free to visit the links posted on our social medias, or visit olympiacosdc.com. Go to the UPSL tab in the top right corner and click on any of the links for the previous game to watch a full replay. Guys, give them support, especially in your DC area. We'll see. Maybe in the summer, if they're still playing, we may do a little Gate 7 support for the UPSL team. Bring some players along, have fun with them. And with that, guys, we want to again thank our sponsor, Piraeus International. Piraeus International has been helping Greeks ship to and from the motherland during COVID-19. Shipments to Greece are going out from Baltimore, Maryland every month. Fill any large U-Haul box 1818 by 24, send it to our friends in Baltimore, and it will be shipped to the Port of Piraeus for only $50. Better yet, fill any large wardrobe box and send it for $100. Give them a call at 410-675-4696, or send an email to sales@piraeusintl.com. Piraeus, like the port in Greece.
Can I just say, I think that's the first time I've not done the ad read in the history of the podcast. This feels weird. It feels a bit weird, it has to be said. But anyway, yes, Piraeus International are great friends over there. We do have a few news items to get into, some transfer stuff. The Bell Honda rumors saga continues on. Apparently he's been given an offer from the club of 5.2 million euros paid out over 3 years, which is about 1.73 million per year. If I recall, I forget. I'm hearkening back to Adi's deep dive, and I think that was about the figure that Adi had said was the tipping point. I think he said 1.7, and I think he'd related that to maybe Envila's salary or somebody else on the club's salary. So I mean, that's interesting. He's going to get back to the club with an answer to that, but I mean, it seems like we might be one of the top teams in for him, and it should be interesting to look at. I'm seeing some comments about Bruma already. We'll get into Bruma later. Well, we'll get into him a little bit right now as well. We do have some sources in the Netherlands that have told us PSV are really just trying to get his wages off the books right now. And so there's potential that they would sell him for a relatively low fee. But who knows what will happen. It seems like Martins wants Bruma back, which, Coach, what are you doing, my friend? Why do we want Bruma back? I mean, anyway, so that's the update with Bruma. We'll see what happens over the summer, but like, God, I wish we could find somebody else to replace him.
Yeah, if I can jump in. So on Belhanda, like, I want to remind people he was on the Wesley Sneijder money. That's like what they call it in Turkey. Like all the big players, like I guess Wesley Schneider's the I guess, what is it, the top. And he was making near 4.2 million euros a year. And so he's going to have to take a pay cut to come here. Let's see what he does. There was all this news that he's making the decision at the end of the week. It's the end of the week. I haven't read anything. Maybe tomorrow morning, our main man at Sport FM, Kostas Nikolakopoulos, will give us the good story. Belhanda's coming. We'll see. And regarding Bruma, guys, we've gotten close with a few Dutch journalists, don't want to say names, from the time in PSV, who we talked to off camera, off recording. And they gave us the actual heads up about Bruma. They'd heard that the team is looking to just move him on. They don't really care about the fee. It's more an issue of wages. When they brought him in from Leipzig, they put him on big wages, and so they're trying to get rid of him, I guess, to free up some space and take a loss. So that's the news on Bruma. Get rid of him, guys. I agree, but it's not going to happen. I think he's coming back for at least one more year. Moving on, we have news out of the UK. Supposedly, Leicester City youngster Sidney Tavares, a young Portuguese youth international, a midfielder, is heavily linked with the club. An interesting one, I'd say. There's another name out there named Simon Olsson of Elfsborg. I'm reading the Greek translation because I pulled it from FOS. He's also linked. He's been playing as a midfielder in a 4-3-3. With these two names coming out, I was telling Peter this a bit off camera. Maybe this is a little bit of Mady Camara replacement. Maybe a lot of other people have been saying, is this more Thiago Silva replacement? I don't know, guys. I don't know what to tell you, but just know I think we're in the market for a young midfielder. These guys are both young.
Yeah, well, and Tavares is, I think an academy player. I don't even know if he would provide impact right away. We have Costa here now. He's made it. Costa. We're just wrapping up the news. I already talked about this with Lambro, but excellent job, man, on the Novasports live stream. You both sounded great. It was quite a bit of fun. What did you think of the experience, Costa?
Oh, it was fun. I'm delighted they invited us. They're trying something new in Greece. I think it's something in England and in Italy fairly well established. These kind of watch-alongs. They had some players on as well. No, it was good fun.
Hold on, before we go on, Stefanos Capino. Did you hear what he was saying? Like I'm going to be diplomatic here because we were on the show. I was listening to that. Like I was watching the game because we were off screen. We were listening to what he said. And he was saying so much BS. Like, this guy is just so happy he's no longer affiliated with the club. And just disgraceful performances for the club when he did play for us. Just a nothing player. But he was then saying that like the atmospheres are better in Germany at Werder Bremen, and that every game is like a derby in Greece, and only the derbies in Greece are good. And I was just like, get off your high horse, man. You're such a coat. You play in the second division. You don't even play there. But anyway, thank you, Novasports. They have no affiliation with Capino, that quote. But loved hearing Yanni Masuras on Novasports as well. He's fantastic. Ready to have him back. Hopefully he's not freezing to death in Poland as he was describing. It was like the coldest winter they'd ever had there or something. Freaking hell.
Well, hopefully they don't hear that stuff about Capino and decide to never interact with us again. But yeah, I mean, the last bit of news we have before we start talking about the game, and feel free to get your questions in about the game as well as just transfer news or Olympiacos in general, and we'll do our best to answer everything. But you may have seen some of this stuff about this European Super League breaking out in the morning, or I guess in the afternoon if you're in Europe. But basically, the idea was it was going to be composed of 15 teams from England, Spain, and Italy. So Bayern Munich and PSG were not to be included. They didn't want to be a part of it. And basically, it was just like, without any merit, these clubs are going to join this league. And a lot of people obviously took issue to this because it doesn't give clubs like Olympiacos or even clubs like Leicester City or, you know, French or German clubs the opportunity to compete in these top competitions. And it's been faced with pretty strong and widespread opposition from pretty much everybody except for the clubs who wanted to be involved in it. But it's an interesting footnote to see that once again, like, these English clubs are going to be clowns. And hopefully the model as it is, which I think is generally fine, doesn't get ruined. But I mean, it was an absolute joke to see like Arsenal in a top European league when they haven't finished higher than like 6th in the Premier League in 5 years. It makes absolutely no sense. But hopefully this doesn't ever happen, and we can just move on and not think about it again.
Costa, you have any thoughts on it? Because I definitely have some thoughts. I think the reaction we saw this evening from like, so there were, I hate saying this, but like the glory hunter English fans, you know, who knows where these people are from, like how they support these teams, but like, we're like, yes, European Super League, blah, blah, blah. But like the general reaction was like, this is ridiculous, this is obscene. And it's just, I think it was a real wake-up call tonight to football as well when this came out. And it's like these teams have way so much power. These English teams, these Spanish teams, these top sixes, like they're already bullying the Champions League to add another team of theirs to the Champions League. And it's just, it's a bit ridiculous, guys. Like, and I really hope that this kind of backfires massively on them, and their power gets taken away, because shit like this is just ridiculous, man. Like Arsenal is gonna be in the Super League. Tottenham, what does Tottenham want in their life? Like, this is obscene. And I think we just saw a statement. Panathinaikos has more parent in the Super League than Arsenal. I don't know if that's too far of a statement. They both lost in the final, I guess. I don't know. It was just disappointing to read about, but the good thing was just the reaction, and reactions from governments too, we have to say. Boris Johnson, Emmanuel Macron, both releasing statements saying they will not support this and that they're going to work with the footballing communities in their countries to stop it. Brilliant. I think there's the Super League forming teams are supposed to release a statement in like 10 minutes. I think it was 9:30. 9:30. What was it? UK time. So soon.
Well, if we hear about that statement, we'll maybe interrupt complaining about the game today to discuss that.
I have to say, just I don't really have strong opinions to voice here. I think we all know, yeah, it's all about the money when it comes to UEFA. It's all about the money when it comes to these clubs. In particular, coming out of COVID as well, I think there's this extra kind of push to create this big money league for the elites, so to speak. But otherwise, guys, I mean, we're not really in much of a position to say much as Greek football right now, are we? To say, oh, you know, we should be there. I mean, Olympiacos has been there and thereabouts for years on end. But as Greek football, I don't really think we've got much much of a say in this matter. Let's see. I would like to think that we've been doing our homework whilst all of this has been going on, with Karembur and the backroom staff being in contact with UEFA. So that's to be seen.
Well, yeah, I guess. And I also feel like a lot of these types of rumors like pop up a lot every year. And I guess they vary in how serious they are, but I feel like you hear about this stuff in all sorts of different models quite a bit. And it's always like clubs with European merit, and then like Arsenal gets in, LOL. Anyway, let's get into the game today. Unfortunate 2-0 loss to PAOK. Of course, we've won the league already, but I don't know, guys. I still hate losing to PAOK. I don't care that we've won the league. We played rather poorly, which is, I suppose, to be expected. I did the little live with Steven before the game. And I predicted a 1-0 loss. I predicted kind of a championship hangover. But I've just seen a comment from Fetanos that I was telling Lambro this exact thing in the chat. I totally agree with this. Like, Avraam, I respect the hell out of this guy for what he's done for the club. And I think he's like valuable as a leadership piece, but like on the pitch right now, this man doesn't have it anymore. I'm sorry, I just have to say, but yeah, it was not great, but I'll let you guys get into it.
Costa, you're on mute, I think. I don't hear you.
My bad. No, I was just looking at a comment from Vageli Sakas. Vageli, yeah, that was Labro and I on Novasports earlier. Yeah. Shout out. Getting into the game. Look, of course, you don't like to lose to PAOK. We knew at the beginning that they had everything to play for, and we had, we were playing because it's a big game against PAOK, but it meant nothing to us, really. It's important to look back at the last couple of games that we've played there as well. It's the kind of place that you go to, whether there's fans, there's no fans. The only way that you can leave Tuba with something is if you play aggressive. If you don't play aggressive, you can't really hope for much. And when you've wrapped up the league, the cup game that we've got on Wednesday is a bigger game than the game that we played today. There, you've actually got something to play for. And BAS is a dangerous team away from home, because we're not in the cup final yet. Because I hear a lot from people, we'll see them again in the cup final. We haven't got to the cup final yet, guys. There's a game on Wednesday. It's 1-1. BAS is a dangerous team, particularly away from home. So don't start saying already that we're in the cup final. But just a few things about today's game. A lot of talk about the 3-4-3. I saw somebody in the comments was saying, get rid of it. Yeah. If we didn't play 3-4-3 today, guys, it would have been Avraam and Socrates. He would never have played with Jolebas as another centre-back. What's the other option then? Play Envila at the Envila centre-back with Socrates. I don't like to lose Envila in the middle. In any case, the coach is trying things ahead of next season. Maybe some might argue that he's fiddling around too much, but what does it cost us? It costs us nothing. I think in the end, today, it was a good wake-up call if we're to face PAOK again at the end of the season. I think we learned some things, and bottom line, at the end of the season, we're going to be celebrating the title, hopefully the double, and PAOK's going to be celebrating a 2-0 win that meant nothing for us at the end of the season.
PAOK will be celebrating being given the opportunity to make Europe and go out in the group stage again. But yeah, well, and one thing I will say, Costa, is I think Wednesday we play Asteras. I think the cup game is next Wednesday.
The next
My
Wednesday,
bad. Yeah.
But either way, Asteras, another chance to potentially try things out. Maybe we see some different players in that game. But
I guess I can give my thoughts. It was funny too on Novasports. Like I think they were expecting like a bigger reaction from us for like losing 2-0 or being down 2-0, and Costa was giving them like the reaction like, don't really care. And I think they were super surprised. Like they were so expecting someone to just be raging, and I was a little upset. I called like Avraam out, and people were a bit negative on that, and I called Bruma out, and people were a bit negative on that. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, Peter, Avraam doesn't do it. I said it on Novasports, and I'll say it here. Avraam should not be playing away from home against PAOK. He can play against Asteras. He can play against Panathinaikos. He can play against PAOK at home, but just like away from home, he's just quite not. Just he doesn't give it. Go ahead, Costa. Yeah.
The goal, the first goal, was a myriad of errors because the crosses come in and then he just. I didn't see it the first time round because we were following the Nova stream and we were watching the game. And on the replay, I noticed that he just kind of kicks it away, but he didn't have the legs to make a good clearance, and it's just come into Zivkovic and he's thumped it in, and Rutos has turned his back on the shot as well. So it's one error after the other. Romeo Gate 7, Milista Ligolinica. Romeo Peter doesn't speak Greek, man. But I will tell you this, there in the near future, I hope maybe even next week, there might be an episode that's Greek only with a Greek guest. Stay tuned.
That was a good.
I do know what Milicia Ligo Ednica means, though.
That's good.
There you go. He even doesn't fail to surprise me.
But that's you're pushing my limits there. The conjugation is still not all the way. Anyway, but I mean, guys, I need to just like rant about Bruma again. I'm sorry, like beating a dead horse here, but like this guy needs to go. I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't care if I wouldn't buy this guy for a liter of olive oil, man. Like you're like spending actual money on that player when he like just disappears. I can't do it. And the thing is, like this scouting department, we can find a winger from the French second division who's better than Bruma, and I guarantee it. I absolutely guarantee that we can find someone like for cheaper who is better and younger, and we can bring them in and keep them, and they're not going to be, just like a waste of space on the wing. I'm sorry. Additionally, Masuras and Vrusai on the wings is better than Bruma plus anyone else, even if we don't sign anyone. I am really close to saying that Bruma is not even that much better than Lazar, guys. Maybe I'm like blowing it out of proportion, but like I don't see the ceiling personally, to be honest, Fetanos. Like I don't see him getting any better. He doesn't finish. Doesn't really like get lots of crosses in. He's got pace, but for me, I've seen enough.
Yeah, I don't think he does it. I don't think he's Olympiacos quality, or maybe he's quality to be like the second or third choice. But what the money you're going to pay Bruma is first choice striker, winger money, I should say, and he doesn't do that. And Peter, I agree with you 100%. Like, Marius Rusais disappeared on us. I know he had that little knee injury, not even a little injury, like a 2 month.
We don't want to rush him back, to be fair, Lambro.
No, I agree. I would rather play him against Asteras, which is like a nothing team, friendly on Wednesday. It's Wednesday. And yeah, see him play then. Andrutos in the midfield, Kenny Lala play at right back. But Bruma just... The problem is, and we brought up to you guys at the beginning of this episode that our Dutch friends who we spoke with off camera are telling us that they're gonna push Bruma out the door no matter what. They want his wages gone. So there's a good opportunity we're gonna have to live with Bruma as our starting striker for the imminent future, and that's a bit disappointing, guys. That's a bit disappointing.
Maybe Aris will take him.
I would trade what's his name, Sande Silva for Bruma, to be honest.
I'm even just saying, like, PAS at the end of the year, PSV just sell him to Aris for like 500,000 euros.
Coble, it's good with me.
But yeah, I mean,
Asteras is a bit of a nothing team, man. I'm sorry. To be honest with you, they have the one Greek right back. They have
Kotsiras.
They have the striker Barales. They're a nothing team. To
The
be honest.
goalkeeper, huge player, scored a goal.
Yeah.
But he's a former youth team player of ours, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, is he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But the thing,
Well, speaking of youth team players, I actually have a question I want to ask, and I think I saw it as a comment or like earlier on in the show when we were still doing news. Like, can we say that Christofilopoulos would be better to play in this game than Avraam?
No. You don't throw a 17-year-old kid that's never played in the league in a match against PAOK in Tuba.
What's he gonna do? Make a mistake and give away a goal?
Well, but in Greece, a mistake in a game like that, even one that doesn't mean anything, it is not good.
I still remember Zoulakis in the PAOK Tumba before coronavirus. Do you guys remember?
Well, he didn't have a bad game.
He didn't have a bad game, but I remember him getting thrown in there, and it was just like this, 16-year-old. He was just like so. He looked so like just like holy shit, like just looking around, you know.
Yeah, of course. No, I don't. I'm not So like play him or play this other kid, Kalogeropoulos, in a game against Asteras. You can't throw him in, and he's never played a first team match before in his life, and all of a sudden he's in Duba, even an empty Duba, playing against men. Like, I'm not a big fan.
Can I ask a follow-up question then?
Yeah.
So we don't want to lose Mvila in the midfield. I agree with that. Would you prefer Bouhalakis in the center back?
No.
Or is he too frail?
No.
You know.
No, I would have either gone with Avraam and Socrates at the back. 4-4, even a 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. I don't really see the need why to play the 3-4-3 again today. In particular, he didn't have the players to play it. You don't have Semedo, you don't have Bar. Just go back to something that's comfortable and pack the midfield. Normally, the last few years we've played a 4-3-3 in Tuba whenever we've gone, except for the first season where we had Nacho in midfield and we went out all guns blazing, and I think we lost 2 or 3-1 that game in Martins' first season. But otherwise, every single game we've gone to Tuba, he's played with a conservative 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder and then two 6-8s in centre mid. And today he's kind of, I don't know, he's tried he's been trying and testing things like a preseason friendly, essentially.
This comment is really good. Like you throw Greek youngsters in Greek derbies, they make one mistake, and then blah 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 from the taverna will tell you Avraam should be playing. You know what I mean? And this is a big problem with our culture. And they talked about it on the Novasports thing we were on. They were like, Greek teams always want to win no matter what. Like I remember, the Gate 7 went and talked to the players and congratulated them for doing so well, but they told them, like, don't lose any of these derbies in the playoffs. We still expect you to win every single one. And, like, sure, I prescribe from that as well, but, like, if we're going to lose a game after clinching the title, playing with Soulis, maybe one of these younger center backs, Zoulakis, like, am I going to be really upset? I think if we're looking on the large scheme of things, it would be fantastic to see these kids play in empty stadiums. We have to reiterate, empty stadiums against big opposition. You know what I mean? They're going to get that level, but they're also not in a stadium where they're going to get whistled and booed, or they're not in a stadium where it's like there's people throwing stuff at them and it's like fire all around them, you know? So
I think still, if you make a mistake, the papers are going to, you still have to read the paper the next day. And I mean, if depending on how bad of a mistake it is, when fans come back in the stands, you might have to still be reminded about the mistake you've made, depending on how bad it was.
Yeah, I don't know, guys, and I don't know if you guys know this, but the under 19s in Greece have not been playing all year, so these guys haven't been playing games, let alone youth games. You know, so like you're gonna throw in these kids who've just been training all year to play, so. I think we got to give them some slack for that as well. These kids have not been playing like any football all year. So
say it again.
I might not agree with playing Christofilopoulos today, but the remainder of the games that we have left, they we have to see some of these kids like Surlis. There's a comment earlier on that I want to bring up from Petros Katsaros. Sign Sydney Tavares. He's young and exciting. This is what we need. I don't know who Sydney Tavares is. He's an under-23 Leicester player from Portugal. Is he better than Vasilis Surlis? I haven't seen Vasilis Surlis play enough. But I would rather see Vasilis Surlis get some games at the end of this season and see what he's about and whether we can use him next season before I go and sign somebody called Sydney Tavares, who before last week I'd never heard of in my life. That's what I don't get with all of this. I mean, obviously, like the papers are starting to try and find things to write and keep readers clicking and keep readers reading their stuff. And there's just one name after the other. Olsen from some Swedish team. About the Belhanda thing that's, tomorrow Belhanda's going to answer. Oh, Fenerbahce is in for Belhanda now. It's going to take another week. And just fodder for the fans and the readers. So I really do, like I've said before, I want to see these players that we've had on the bench. Surlis, I hope Brusai gets some games. I know that he's they're probably being cautious with him. He's coming back from a knee injury, so no need to rush him back. I agree with what Peter said, but we have to see if these guys can play next year, and I think we have to give some priority to our own.
Yeah, and if I can just say something, I really wish the mentality was like some of these guys should be sent on vacation from right now, like who are not going to be here next year. You know what I mean? Like Mohamed Drager, Thiago Silva. It pains me to say it, but maybe even Hugo Kuipers. Like some of these guys should literally just be sent. Like you guys aren't going to be here past the summer, so just go on vacation. Your services are done. For me, that's what needs to be done. And I know that's a bit mean, but Thiago Silva's not going to be here next year, guys. He's going back to Nottingham Forest. I promise you that. And De Reger as well. Like you can look down the squad list sometimes and you can just be like, is this guy really, like, why is he in the squad list? So that's what I would do, but I know that's never going to happen. We're going to see Thiago Silva against Tripoli probably. It's just disappointing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I probably agree with you, Lambro. I honestly also wouldn't mind like some of our players who are going to be here next year getting a bit of a vacation as well, because these games don't matter as much as the games in July are going to. And those July qualifiers, they creep up on you as well. We'll be talking about those in no time, to be honest with you. So
this is also true, this comment. Like I was reading some comments on Twitter, and like Nottingham Forest fans were like, Thiago Silva's brilliant. We want him back. Like he's so much better than Bukhalakis, blah, blah, blah. Like, what football do they watch there? Like
they watch the highlight tapes.
But they're having a horrible season too.
Yeah.
So they want him back really bad. So good luck, good riddance. Like I'd trade Cafu for him.
Ooh, Cafu, the legend.
Cafu, legend. Yeah.
Isn't Cafu been like one of their most consistent players as well?
Yeah.
Anyway, don't mean to rag on Nottingham Forest too much. We obviously wish them the best, but they're doing quite poorly. But I mean, any other? I think there were some comments earlier about Sa. I think we can say Sa played a pretty solid game. Like the second goal, I guess he sort of came out and let Zivkovic get by him, but it's difficult for a goalkeeper to do that. The first goal, pass. Yeah, it was a beautiful ball, and the first goal was first time incredible strike. Like actually, an incredibly impressive goal, I would say. Yeah, I mean, I saw made a lot of really important saves, especially in the first half as well. So, of course, hats off to him. Once again, hopefully nobody else is watching and he doesn't leave. But, I mean, he was one of the few bright spots for me today, I would say. But second half was pretty stagnant. PAOK were dangerous on the counter for a lot of the game as well.
I thought the game was quite open in general. I mean, we started quite brightly in the first 15 minutes. There were those offsides where we got pulled back. There was even the Andrutsos header. I think it was from. I think Masouras was was offside when he's made the run down the left-hand side. But it looked like we were penetrating quite well. And I tried to make sense of the 3-4-3 that Pablo Garcia set out for PAOK, because that surprised me when I saw their lineup. I thought, what's he trying to do here? And it looked like they were trying to block the inside forwards. He knows that Masuras and Bruma are going to be acting more like inside forwards than wingers. But in the first 15 minutes, we were cutting through their defense like a hot knife through butter. Whether it was Bruma on the right hand side or Masuras, there were plenty of times that we got in behind. We looked dangerous. Ryabchuk got away on the left hand side. Androusos was going up, and he was leaving some space in behind for PAOK to counter. But I mean, then the game balanced out, and second half we did nothing. Second half I thought we did nothing, and but even if that's the case, it's one of those games where basically they had 2 shots on target in the second half, and they scored 2 goals. And in the first half, they had that one occasion on the 34th minute where I think Swiderski lays it off to Zivkovic, and Sar makes that incredible save that's deflected off Avraam's leg, and he's already falling over, and he instinctively moves his hand the other way and makes a great block. So yeah, that's pretty much the game, like summarized. Wasn't pretty, but okay. In the end, PAOK take the win.
Yeah, I honestly too, as we were like doing that stream thing, they were like 3 minutes ahead of us, and watching it was so difficult to watch the game. I don't know if you found that the same. Yeah. I just found that second half, like before they scored the goal, they were coming to us, and I was gonna say the system has worked. We've had chances, we just haven't scored. We had like the Masuras chance, the Bruma chance, a few others, and I thought it worked fine. And then in the second half, just like nothing went to plan after that early goal. And again, it's just finish the chances, finish the goddamn chances. Like when you do, it's like it was almost like a European night tonight, which sounds weird, but it's just like that was the game script of a lot of European games where we have the chances in the first half, look good, didn't finish the chances. We end up going home extremely disappointed because we just didn't do it. And tonight I was disappointed in Bruma. Lefteris, I see your comment, I put it up. I'm disappointed in Bruma, but I was also disappointed in Andres Bouhalakis tonight. I felt like he didn't do much at all, as well as Jan Mvia. I thought the middle of the park we got bossed, which is a bit embarrassing to say. I think tonight the 4-3-3, as Costa said earlier, would have been nice. With that midfield 3 would have bossed PAOK in their 3-4-3. It would have been the perfect reaction to their 3-4-3 in the second half, bringing on Kamara for Holepas or Avraam. But anyway, we're nitpicking. I see a comment about Oleg. I was seeing the same thing on halftime on Twitter. People were saying Oleg's not good enough. Like, guys, come on. I think he's good enough. The coach gave the players vacation, and they didn't train, and they won the championship. Come on, let's just relax a little bit about Oleg.
There might be an element of mind games in this game too, huh? Because if we do get past PAS in the cup, it's likely it's going to be PAOK in the final. So you wouldn't want to show all your cards in the game that we play against them today. So I think there could be an element of that too. I saw that Pablo Garcia was quite reserved in his post-match commentary. He didn't say the usual bullshit he gave last time, where he was saying we proved we were on the same level and so on and so forth after the first game that we played them during the regular season. So I think there might be an element of that too. But frankly as well, it's hard, man, when you're a player, you've just won the league and you're going over there and you're like, why should I go in for the big tackle and injure myself and risk getting hurt before the season ends in preseason? I think whether we like it or not, that's fact.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I kind of had a feeling we were going to lose this game. It's disappointing to do so in a way when, like you said, Costa, they had 2 shots on target and scored 2 goals. And both the goals were sort of like, I mean, they were very nice goals, I have to say. Like, you know, I'm not trying to insult PAOK here, but like, you know, it's like, oh, you're going to score that. Okay, like, fair enough. You know, what can we do about that? In a way. I mean, of course, like, you know, we said on the first goal there were mistakes, but like that finish was still excellent. But yeah, I mean, and I know, like, Costa, you've said, and we've kind of all said, like, who cares about the cup, really? I do want to win the cup. Mainly just like it's sort of a way to once again assert our dominance in Greece, that we win the double 2 years in a row. Like, that's something I would like to say that we've done. I understand not caring enough about it to invest, you know, in, especially like when we were still in Europe. Like, I'm not going to say we should invest all these player minutes in the cup. And then, but I mean, now, I mean, I would say those are the most meaningful games left because we've won the league. But, and so I am interested in that. And Yanina is going to be an interesting matchup. I think we have a good chance of winning, but they are a very tough team to play against. We've had a lot of trouble with them. And I also agree that we wouldn't want to show our hand too much, because PAOK are up 1-0 on Ike and had the away goal, and they're likely to be facing us in the final. And who knows, maybe in the final we move back to a 4 at the back formation.
This is an interesting point from Vajos. Kasami and Milivojevic were the best midfield duo we've had in the last 6-7 years. Ooh,
I love Kasami.
That's a big statement, my friend. I don't know about that. I like Kasami and I like Milivojevic. Kasami on his day is top class, but his days were kind of 1 in 5. He'd have a game that was a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, and then he'd play 3 or 4 games that were a 6 or a 5 or a 7. It was just a bit too inconsistent for me, and I think that's followed him around his entire career. I've heard it's improved in Switzerland, but Milivojevic certainly one of the best DMs that we've had in the past few years. But I tell you what, this midfield that we have today is not bad. Camara and Envia. For me, for the modern game, like how football's evolved, I think for Olympiacos, that's a quality pairing. And I think, I mean, we've said it before, but Jan Envia was the biggest signing that we made this season, without a shadow of a doubt. The best signing that came to Greece. He's been absolutely fantastic. And I tell you what, I wouldn't have minded to see Envia play with Guilherme either. That would have been a sight.
Yeah.
The 3-man midfield, that would have been the 3-man midfield of Envia, Guilherme, and Nadi.
And Camara. Wow.
That's top Champions League level midfield for me. Like, that's super. That's something Arsenal don't have. That's something a lot of these. Oh Jesus! I just.
Are you dreaming now?
Next season, Pepe x Thiago Silva fire. Oh God.
The thing is, guys, Madi. Like, what do you guys think the chances are Madi is on our team next season?
Very low.
No chance.
Yeah.
Very low.
Every night we don't see Madi play 90 minutes, I get a little pain, because this is the last season. Madi's going to be an Olympiacos player, and you know, it pains me to like have to watch him play for like 20 minutes, you know, because this is it, like, you know, the final dance, last dance, as they say. So, but
he sticks out like a sore thumb, even when he's on for 20 minutes, and he did today, a couple of touches on the ball, and just like, yeah, okay.
His quickness, it's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna go, man, and he deserves it. So it is what it is. Fetanos. The cup finals on the 22nd of May. So Fetanos is asking, is there 2 weeks between the first UCL qualifiers and Greek Cup final? Cup finals on the 22nd of May. And now the issue is, if we play in the first round of the Champions League qualifiers, then that means that we'll have to start pre-season the first week of June, because we'll be playing the first week of July in the first round. If we're playing in the second round qualifiers start around the 14th of July, which gives us an extra week holiday. And that's why there was this request from the club to play the cup game, the cup final earlier, so that the team and all the teams would have more rest going into qualification. Of course, that was rejected because for AEK, PAOK, Panathinaikos, teams chasing European football, they want to prioritize. They want to prioritize the league and keep things as they are. So,
well, I mean, and so when we bring summer transfers in, they will be part of the team starting July 1st, like officially. Like those are the first games that they'll be able to take part in.
Yeah.
So they won't really even get preseason friendlies. Is basically, I mean,
that's probably explains why we're trying to bring in players like Belhanda and get them wrapped up and signed and, in the Olympiacos uniform as quickly as we can, because qualifiers are starting early, but there's Euros to consider this summer. So, I mean, who's going to be gone? Sa might be gone.
Sa might be. They might go. They're. Yeah, he might be gone.
That's something we haven't talked about, actually, isn't it?
Will it just be Sa? Is Serbia in? Like, there's a small shot they pick Lazar, but honestly, like, does it really even matter?
Semedo's going to be gone. Sa's going to be gone.
Of course, Semedo, yeah. Semedo, I think, has a higher chance of being gone than Sa. And
I think Sa with the release clause has a better chance, to be honest, right? Because Semedo re-signed the contract, so.
Guys, one player we might need to see, and not, we could play Tsolakis. Assuming we don't have a goalkeeper in on July 1st if we replace Sa, we might have to use Tsolakis or Christensen in these European games, the early European games. And I actually think Christensen, if he gets a couple games in before the season ends, like, could do a decent job. Like, I understand, like, Tsolakis is, like, going to be very good. And he would probably do a decent job as well. But, like, and I don't really understand why Christensen chose to come here. But I think he could potentially do a job if called upon in some of those early European games. Like, he's been decent from what we've seen. But I also don't know what the club are going to do. Maybe they will wait to sell Sa until a later date or something. But that might also have ramifications.
Yeah, no, I agree. Christensen, I think, could do the job. And so just to clear this point up for all the fans, we're going to be playing these qualifying games while the European Championships are going on. Is that what I heard? Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the deal. Okay. So Vios said we need an Ella Rabi type experience kind of winger.
Just
on the way.
If I may, on the goalkeeper point, we ran a poll last week and we asked the question, with Sa likely to leave at the end of the season, what do we do for the rest of the season with a goalkeeping situation? Do we play Tsolakis? Do we play Christensen? Or do we share the goalkeeper's position for the rest of the season? 65% say play Tsolakis, 13% say play Christensen, and 22% say share the goalkeeper position. That's on a poll where we had more than 300 people replying. So it's not a bad sample. It gives you an idea. I think my feelings on this are very clear. I want to see Tsolakis play the rest of the games this season because I want to know what this kid can do. He's already played in pressure games. I don't understand why he doesn't get a run out in these kinds of games with the league over, no fans, no extra pressure. For me, he needs to play.
I'm not going to disagree with you there, Costa. I think Fetano said as well, the opponents in the first round are going to be like Finnish and Estonian teams. So maybe Tsolakis could do just fine. I'll see that argument. But what I find ironic is that the poll doesn't include play Sa every day till the end of the season, because that's probably what we're going to end up seeing at this point. Maybe Tsolakis. I remember last year, like at the end of last year, we would like sub Tsolakis on with 15 minutes left. I remember Martins doing that a few times, and it's like, okay, I guess we're going to do that then. But I definitely in these, I love to see Tsolakis against Asteras on Wednesday. I think that's like a great game. I mean, he is. I genuinely think he's like one of the best young goalkeepers in Europe. The reason I don't think that's a bold claim to make is because goalkeepers generally take a longer time to develop. And like, you know, you see like 17-year-old like Jude Bellingham scoring in the Champions League from midfield. It's not often you see like a 17, 18-year-old goalkeeper like playing in big games, first team football. So, I mean, I like, and I agree that he needs to get game time to grow. So I definitely want to see more of him. I think he's incredibly talented. And when he gets older, hopefully he is, you know, he could play for 20 years for Olympiacos and be a legend in our club when it's all said and done. That would be a dream scenario for him. Or maybe he becomes too good for Olympiacos and gets sold when he's like 22 years old.
I mean, there are the keepers that you mentioned, they're few and far between, like young keepers that have broken
That's
into
what I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. No, you're right. I can't think of many. Like Iker Casillas always comes to my mind.
The one that I've seen this year, I remember this was, I want to say Dynamo Kiev. This kid, and I forget his name, but he was like 18 years old and he played against Barcelona and did a very good job in the group stage. But I mean, that's like, I mean, genuinely, if you know, you think about, you can name an 18-year-old player at most outfield positions, but there aren't very many goalkeepers, especially at the big clubs that are currently as young as Tovakis is and playing first team football at all. So, I mean, he's an incredibly promising player, and I hope, I do hope we can see a good handful of him. I think I'd like to see a lot of him and then some of Christensen as well, but maybe we can just get rid of Christensen. Who knows what the deal is with him? Like I said, I don't know why he chose to come here.
Vios got jokes.
We keep on dreaming. Camavinga.
I heard Camavinga doesn't want to renew his contract with Rennes. Karen Book can make the deal.
Why not?
Nice one, man. I think we're more likely to bring Milivojevic back.
Jan Vila has the connection with Rennes.
And Peter, I also should give a shout out to Martial's piece on our website, which talks about deals from France. I don't remember seeing Camavinga on the list, but maybe he forgot him. I don't know.
He's a bit expensive even for the chairman.
Is that one up yet, Lambro, or is it coming out soon? I think it's on its way out soon.
I think
keep your eyes open for that one.
It's going to be out tomorrow morning. I made a mistake. Yep.
But we're getting to about an hour, folks. So I mean, we can. I guess I don't really want to do man of the match. Like, you know, I would say it's Sa personally, but we can do coach's grade. We've talked at length about the 3-4-3. I don't want to say like, you know, I think it would have been difficult for me, to be honest, to expect a result, like at least a win today. The players are not, as Costa said, in the frame of mind to be playing super hard in these types of games when they've just celebrated winning a championship for a week. I'll say maybe a B- for Martins. He didn't have two center backs with him today, Ba and Semedo. So that has to be factored in as well. Like, there's not a good option to pair with Socrates. And so, I mean, whether it's 3-4-3 or what, like, it's not great. But I probably would have preferred something like the 4-3-3 today. But it is what it is. I think B- maybe for me, for Martins. What do you think, Costa?
Yeah, it's hard to point at a man of the match as well. If I had to point at anybody, it'd probably be Jose Sa for that save that he made on the 34th minute. That for me was really the highlight from our players. I think that was a fantastic save. Really, I'm really trying very hard to think. El Arabi had a quiet night. I thought Masouras was quite lively. Nah, but coach B-. Yeah, I think he could have chosen a different system today. But you know, the Avraam Papadopoulos thing, it's respect, man. I mean, whatever you can't. There's not really much you can say. You don't want to shit on him because of, you know, a mistake that he made. He's been such a fantastic servant of the club for so many years. He's an important piece in the dressing room, and that's what he'll become come next season. And you know, the coach tried to reward him today. gave him the opportunity. But I think the lesson learned today is that if you don't have both Bar and Semedo fit, you can't play that 3-4-3. You need the players to play that formation, and I don't think we, in spite of starting well, I think it was too much of a risk.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Also, people asked, what about our website, gate7intl.com? Check it out. New blog posts coming almost every day. Yeah, on topics you guys like. Not always about the same stuff, fun stuff. It's always fun stuff, I should say. Yeah, guys, for me tonight, I don't know. C+, B-. I was disappointed with some things, but really couldn't care. To give you another disappointed in Fortunis a bit tonight. Seemed a bit off it, but the whole team seemed to be off it, so am I really going to throw him under the bus? Not really. Mattia Valbuena didn't play great as well, but okay, yeah. C+. And we're not doing man of the matches. I guess if I had to give a man of the match, man, it's tough. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, I'm not. That's right. I'm not going to do it because it's just too hard. So that's all I got, guys.
Man of the match, Yanni Masouras, for his great interview on Novasports.
True. Worst of the match, freaking Stefanos Capino. Oh, man, what a joke of a player. But just no mentality. This guy's just nothing. Like, I just want to put it out. Like, listening to him speak, like, clarified it even more. The difference between a Yanni Masouras who is speaking and a Stefanos Capino is huge. Like, just...
Well, thank you for that, Lambro.
Stefanos Capino is like never coming on for a Legends interview. Let's just put it that way. He's not getting any. I just will never forgive him for the Ike game. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
Well, speaking of Legends interviews, people, don't forget we've just done one with Guillaume Gillet, who played for us in a very turbulent time for Olympiacos, and he had a lot of really interesting and insightful stuff to say about that team. He's had a very successful career in football, and I was incredibly impressed by the degree of respect and love that he shows for our club, despite only playing here for 1 year, and it wasn't even a very good year in the sense that we didn't win the trophy. So huge up to GA for doing that and coming on and joining us. Check that interview out if you haven't. And additionally, on our blog, our resident French writer, we do have blog posts in 3 different languages. So we have some Greek writers, English writers, and French writers. But our resident French writer, Martial, at Olympiacos France, did a very nice piece summarizing the GA interview for us in French. So, of course, if you don't know French, feel free to click Google Translate, and it's easy to read in any language. But feel free to check that out. GA, he was a great guy. He was very nice to come on and chat with us about the team for an hour. And give it a listen. Respect to GA, totally. Anyway, thank you all very much for listening, especially if you've made it this far. We will be back sometime next week. I don't know exactly what day we're dropping the episode yet, but we'll discuss Asteras. I'm sure there will be many things to discuss for this huge game against the big club that is Asteras Tripoli. Hopefully, maybe we see Tsoudakis or some young players. I could probably talk about Tsoudakis for an hour if he plays tomorrow or against Asteras. So that'll give us some filler for the podcast. But besides that, enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in if you're listening live, and also if you're listening later. So if you guys don't have anything else to say, I think we'll wrap it up there.
There could be a surprise coming very soon.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open. Gate7INTL social media. Anyway,
www.gate7intl.com. Check it out. If you haven't subscribed and you're listening and you like what you're listening to, go over to YouTube, hit subscribe. More content coming this way.
Yep.
Totally. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you very soon.